For the battered but proud people of the Empire State, from the financial and entertainment epicenter of New York City to the sleeping and empty small cities and towns of upstate, which once bustled with manufacturing, mining, and farming. We all know from inspiration, history, and nature, we deserve a return to the success and growth of generations past, a birthright being squandered by corruption in Albany, and the depredations of an insecure, scheming mountebank posing as governor, who loathes both us and himself. As liberty beckoned to enslaved peoples behind the Iron Curtain via American broadcasts after World War II, we now say, believe, rise, and join us. Welcome to Radio Free New York.
Hey guys, welcome to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister, and today we've got Kevin Wilson here with us for our Tuesday's Talk of the Town.
Howdy.
Hey, how's it going, Kevin?
Oh, you know, living the dream. Hanging out in my nice cold house.
Yeah, you know, I think I told you guys, you probably saw in the live stream last week, I was pretty well sunburnt, and now I've got, you know, like snow outside. Today there's some sunshine, but it had a little bit of snow over the weekend, some sleet, some frost. It does not know.
Like, I know we're supposed to expect this stuff in you know, Western New York, Rochester, Finger Lakes region, but it doesn't mean I have to like it.
Yeah, no, exactly. And you know what's really funny is everybody says the weather is bad everywhere they are. I was doing a virtual meeting with some people in another part of the country, and they were like, yeah, you know, at least in Western New York where you guys live, the weather's really predictable, you know. Where we live, you know, it can be really cold one day and really warm another. You know, we'll get sun, then we'll get snow. And I'm like, you mean like Rochester, right?
Yeah, no, that's exactly how it is here.
Yeah. So they think that our weather's predictable, which I found hilarious.
No, you know, and I'll take the small blessings where I can get them, right? You know, I'm seeing the lilacs starting to come out. There's just little buds right now. Just take the small little victories. Like, spring is coming. Soon it won't be below freezing anymore, despite the fact that it is, I think I could call it mid-May now. It's mid-May. But we're still getting a freeze warning.
Yeah, well,
Don't
you
like
know,
that.
we're in the month
Not
of
at all.
May. Maybe a little rain. Maybe there'll be sun. Maybe there'll be snow. Maybe I don't know. It's the month of May. So, but let's talk about something else that's maybe a little more exciting than the weather here, which is we're talking about New York State reopening, which I think is really exciting to some people. However, I'm seeing a lot of people who are upset about this. I'm seeing people who are saying, no, this is too soon. We need to stay shut down longer, which to me is a little disheartening. But Kevin, I'll let you jump in on this first.
No, most New Yorkers want to see New York stay closed for even longer. They want to feel safe. And, you know, I don't know if the type of people responding to this thing are people who are, you know, able to work from home and they're comfortable and they're fine that way. They don't really feel like they need to go out and get these other services, or they're just terrified, or they're collecting enough on unemployment that, like, getting back to work isn't an urgency for them. But a lot of people are still scared, and they think that even opening up in the very, very limited way that the Finger Lakes region got approved for is a mistake.
Yeah, and you know, I find this pretty interesting, and I'm seeing people getting upset on every side of this, and there doesn't seem to be, by the way, any partisanship. You know, you've got some of your most conservative people pushing for more tyranny and to keep things locked down and quarantine, and you've got people on the complete left side saying, no, we need to open. I don't know if you're seeing any partisanship, but Kevin, I'm not. It seems to be just random, case-by-case basis.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that in general, libertarians and Republicans tend to be more towards the we should open up sooner than later side, whereas Democrats seem to be we should just get $2,000 a month indefinitely and stay closed for as long as it takes, as long as it saves one life. And that's you're right. It's not as clear partisan lines as you'd always see, but for the most part, that's what I see. I think it is a little bit partisan, which is interesting. We've turned it into a culture war thing.
Yeah, well, it is interesting, and you bring up libertarians, and yeah, for the most part, I would say libertarians are like, no, we need to open up. This should be volunteer based. I'm seeing a lot of that, and people saying, oh, libertarians are just heartless and selfish. They just want money because that's why they want to open up. They don't care about life, which couldn't be further from the truth at all.
Nope. Turns out you kind of need money to live sometimes, though. I mean. And even if you're getting, a check from the government, like if you're not able to buy at places, that's a problem. And eventually the government's going to run out of money. Like we can't keep doing this forever. It's just not going to work.
The one thing I wonder is how much money is actually in the government bank accounts. Like we have budgets
None.
And we have debt, but do we have an actual balance? Does anybody really know like what is in the government's bank account? It's multiple bank accounts, all this stuff. Like when New York State, we're now what, $15 billion in the hole is the current like estimate. What's actually in the bank? Because I'm sure the bank account doesn't say negative 15 billion.
Yeah, I mean you can. I think there's like ways you can look at it. It's always like kind of going in and out based on like tax revenues and stuff like that. So I know like that's why Governor Cuomo was given the authority to be able to cut budgets unilaterally, is because despite the fact that the legislature set a budget, it's all dependent upon like what tax revenue is coming in when. And then, what leeway do they have to be able to issue bonds to be able to, which is essentially a loan for a government to be able to cover some of those operating expenses and capital expenses that are supposed to go out and all that type of stuff. So I don't know precisely how it works, but it's always in flux, just like the rest of our bank accounts. But more and more of it, especially at the federal level, is with loans and loan servicing. That's where a lot of it's going
so I wonder, like, how close is the government to truly having no money? And Sean on YouTube says the bank has, or the state government has $1.29. That's what's left. That's
wow, just like me.
Yeah. Wow, the government really does know how I feel. But yeah, I think that as we talk about all of this, and one of the things that is going to be really important, we're going to talk about this idea that Friday, starting this weekend, businesses, it sounds like in the Finger Lakes area, are going to be allowed to start phase 1 of reopening under Governor Cuomo's plan.
Woo!
And yeah, woohoo! And people are already, I see this on Facebook, asking, well, how do we get to phase 2? Like, people are so ready for this. We haven't even started to reopen, and people are already asking, okay, how do we get to the next step? Which I think really speaks to the fact that people need this. People have really, for a long time, been, I'll say, quote unquote, stuck in their homes, which isn't technically true. You can go to a park or wherever, but they don't have the ability to work. They don't have the ability to have purpose. They don't have the ability to maybe pay their bills, support their family. So people are really, really interested in this happening, and they're chomping at the bit.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people are just like, all right, get back to work, and it is a money thing for a lot of people. And it's also a purpose thing, right? Like if you're sitting at home, even if your expenses are covered, it's like maybe this is your passion, this is your life. You want to get back to serving your community in the way that you know how, whether that's giving haircuts or operating something fun, like a recreational thing or whatever it is. You want to get back to helping people out, help them get the goods and services that they need.
Yeah, so before we cut to break, let's read this Cuomo tweet here.
Oh, goodness.
Because that's going to set us up for our next segment. So this is Governor Andrew Cuomo from his official Twitter account. He says, New York will reopen statewide certain low-risk businesses and recreational activities as of May 15th. These include landscaping and gardening, outdoor low-risk recreational activities like tennis, drive-in movie theaters.
Yeah. No, categories that shouldn't have been prohibited in the first place.
Exactly.
Honestly, that's...
Yep. All right, guys, so we're going to let you think about that over break. We're going to take a brief break here. You're listening to Radio Free New York. When we come back, we're going to talk about Cuomo's tweet and should landscaping and gardening have ever been shut down to begin with? We'll be back in a moment on Radio Free New York.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
College Assistance Plus has worked with thousands of families, saving them millions of dollars. It can be stressful choosing the right college, but we're here to help. CA Plus will guide you from college visits to college graduation and through every step in between. Each student and family situation is different, and we work to accommodate those specific needs. Call today for a free family meeting, 585-582-1846, or visit collegeassistanceplus.com for more information. College is expensive. College Assistance Plus can help.
A reminder from Abate Monroe County. American bikers aim toward education. Distracted driving is dangerous, so pull over and eat. Don't try to read your mail and newspaper, and stay off your cell phone. Make a mental note to be more alert, making it a habit to expect the unexpected. Remember to look twice. Save a life. Train yourself to watch for motorcycles which are harder to see. Join Abate, and your family will be protected with a free $4,000 accident policy. Ride safe. Ride free. Ride often. Abate. If you ride with us. Google Abate Monroe County.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
You're listening to Radio Free New York.
All right, welcome back to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister. I've got Kevin Wilson here. We are doing our Talk of the Town on Tuesday. And before we hit break, we read Governor Cuomo's reopening New York tweet. I'm going to read it for you guys again, just in case you're joining us. And we've already got some responses in the comments, so we'll roll through those too. So from Andrew Cuomo, Governor of New York, he says, New York will reopen statewide certain low-risk businesses and recreational activities as of May 15th. These include landscaping and gardening, outdoor, low-risk recreational activities like tennis, and drive-in movie theaters. So there you go. Those things are low risk enough, Kevin, that we can reopen.
Oh, thank you, government. Thank you for telling me that they're low risk enough. Now I feel safe, and I can go out and do these activities I was too scared to do before. Just kidding. I've been playing tennis. I did not let the government stop me from playing tennis because I use common sense. Because when you're playing tennis, particularly when you're playing singles, just one-on-one, I can go and be, 20, 30, 40 feet apart from someone. I don't have to be anywhere near the person I'm playing tennis with. And all I got to do is not touch my face afterwards and pick my nose. And then I'm pretty sure that it's a safe activity because we're just hitting the ball across the court.
You play tennis more than 6 feet away from your opponent?
It's an advanced game. I mean, it's a lot of fun if you're playing only 5 feet away. That's it makes things exciting. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, well, especially if you attach the lightsabers to the tennis rackets, and
Yeah, but again, like we look at these things and like you and me and most of the people listening are like, oh yeah, this is common sense. Like, why are we shutting down tennis courts? There's a tennis court I can literally see from my window right now that if it weren't covered up with a blanket to dampen the sound and whatnot, but I could see a tennis court, but that's locked up. So I had to go out somewhere else to go and find a tennis court. But it's common sense that this is an activity that's safe to do. You're getting outside, you're getting exercise. And you're able to sort of see people. Again, maybe don't go up and give them a hug, but like you can see people. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised. I guess I didn't realize that the tennis courts were shut down, closed up, because once again, I mean, this is not a sport where physical distance is a problem. It's just not. And these other examples too are just really hilarious to me. I don't know how else to say this. I mean, let's start with landscaping. Yeah. Now, sure, you could have a team of landscapers, I guess, like if you're running a big company and maybe have 2 or 3 guys working on a crew together. But for 90% of us, you're going to see somebody who's doing landscaping is doing what many of us have been doing, I think, maybe not, which is being by yourself outdoors pushing a lawnmower,
Yeah. I mean, like, listen, like, I've worked as a landscaper before. I used to do landscaping back in college for a cemetery. And if I was close enough to violate social distancing rules, I'd be smelling my friends. I don't want to smell my friends when we're out landscaping. Like, we're not that close together. I'm on a riding mower by myself or using a weed whacker by myself far away. You can do landscaping and not be anywhere near each other. You can do that safely. Why weren't these businesses able to operate?
Yeah, and then the follow-up, landscaping and gardening. I didn't realize people weren't allowed to do gardening. I didn't realize we were supposed to be holding off till May 15th. I think probably a lot of people are in violation now. They're in trouble, Cuomo.
Yeah, so I'll tell you, like in Rochester, what they almost ended up doing, and they got so much pushback against it that they backed off, is they almost prohibited people from operating in the community gardens. Right, they're going to say, all right, we're not going to issue permits this year. You're not going to, be able to go out and tend your community gardens. And people are like, what the heck? This is one of the few safe things I can do. It's way safer than going to Wegmans, where I have to be in a packed environment, with a bunch of people. I could go out and garden by myself and be nowhere near people. Plus, some of these community gardens, if they're not maintained, it's going to be overgrown and it's going to be difficult or impossible to bring that back.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, and for some people, especially where I used to live in the city, I used to live in the Lyle Otis neighborhood by Maplewood. And there was actually a community garden there, a really big one that supported refugees that came from another country. And they were farmers, and they grew all of their food in conjunction with FoodLink. FoodLink helped set the space up for them. And they had this small community, not small actually, a decent-sized community garden that they grew all their own food in. So this idea that the state is giving us permission to put food in the ground, no, sorry, not going to happen. Not buying it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I think most people probably just aren't listening to that stuff. So if you're going to go out and play tennis, you're going to go out and do it. If you're going to go out and do a garden, you're probably going to go and do it and not wait for the state to listen. As long as the state or local government isn't enforcing that type of thing, you're just going to go out and do it. And this is the problem that you get to, and it's something we've talked about a lot in this show, is just you put out these stupid prohibitions that people just scratch their head at, and it creates mistrust. So then when the government does do something that maybe is a good actual recommendation, people are like, oh yeah, coming from the same people who told me I couldn't play tennis, I'm going to listen to these guys now? No.
Yeah, no, I agree. So this last one is interesting to me because Cuomo got flack for this once already. And the drive-in movie theaters. And before we even talk about drive-in movie theaters, Kevin, what is your favorite fast food restaurant?
My favorite fast food restaurant? Ooh, I don't know. Like big chain, probably like, I don't know, maybe Taco Bell, I guess. I don't know.
Taco Bell. All right, we'll
Big
go with
chain.
Taco Bell. There we
Or
go.
Bill
Taco
Gray's.
Bell's getting some free
Consider.
advertising today. Okay. So my question is, how is attending a drive-in movie theater any more dangerous than going through the drive-up line at Taco Bell?
It is less dangerous.
Yeah, I think it's either less dangerous or about the
or
same,
at least equally,
depending
right?
on
Like,
if
you just
have
gotta
to.
hand over the card or whatever to pay. So
Yeah.
same amount of dangerous.
Yep.
Wash your hands.
And that could actually be totally eliminated if you did something like Google Pay and then you just wave a picture of your payment, on the phone and they let you through and there's no contact.
Right?
So
Yeah.
in that instance it could be safer. So why did we close them? Oh, wait a minute.
An abundance of caution.
Government said it was not essential.
Yeah.
That's it. It's the only reason. Government shut things down without any type of consideration for risk. They just said, well, you need to eat. That's essential. All these other things, regardless of how safe they are, we're just shutting down.
Yeah. No, and it stops making sense. And people, again, they either just get frustrated with the government or they ignore it. And that's the other option too, is that you just say, all right, well, I'm going to go out and do my thing. But you're taking a risk doing that. You're taking a risk that the government's going to use force against you for disobeying the arbitrary orders.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I think this is just goofy. This is ridiculous. I mean, and there's so many other things here that people could be doing that they're not doing, or they're just simply shut down that could be totally safe. Yet government saying, well, maybe that's medium risk or maybe that's high risk. I got news for you. Just government's thinking is really narrow-minded and kind of slow and behind the times. There's a lot of businesses that maybe at one point in time were quote unquote high risk, or medium risk that have figured out a way around that. And there is very minimal risk. Why isn't government allowing them to open?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, our guest Thursday, we're going to have Bob Confer on, and he's talking about what businesses are doing to protect their employees and protect their customers. He's in the manufacturing industry, but that's going to be, I'm really looking forward to that discussion to hear, like how are businesses able to operate and why isn't it possible for businesses to get moving quicker?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'll just throw one out here for you guys. Some of you know my wife is a photographer. That's a great example of an industry that just kind of leaves you scratching your head. A photographer is easily 6+ feet away from you. You never have to come into contact with a photographer at all. Even for the financial exchange, it could be paid online or paid however. So pretty minimal risk, and that industry shut down. And there's so many other industries just like that, where you don't necessarily have to come in contact with somebody, or if you are coming into contact with them, it's just as much, if not less, than the drive-through or a takeout, or probably the highest risk to people right now is actually shopping in grocery stores.
Yep.
Yet they're open, they're allowed to be, they're essential, regardless of the risk. Guys, you are listening to Radio Free New York. You've got Andrew Hollister here, you've got Kevin Wilson here. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in a moment.
Now, more than twice the power.
WYSL.
More powerful FM 92.1, FM 95.5 West, and 1040 AM WYSL Avon Rochester.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight.
We'll have clearing skies. Could be near record cold once again, kind of frosty. Around 30 degrees on Wednesday. Should be mostly sunny through the day and back into the 50s. So a nice day coming up Wednesday. Thursday, a little warmer. Showers arrive in the afternoon, but we'll be into the 60s, upper 60s with some showers on Friday. I'm Rich Cornelia on WYSL.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech. Did Mom leave the stove on again? Dad forget to take his pills? The senior citizen in your life deserves to be treated like family in every way, and you deserve the peace of mind that comes from knowing your older family member is getting personalized care, even though they're not yet ready for a nursing home. Consider Alpine Manor, founded in 1971 by owner Tim Kinsella, and just 20 minutes from Rochester in Lima, Livingston County. At Alpine Manor, there are supervised activities and medications, full laundry and housekeeping services provided to your loved one in immaculate surroundings. You can move to warmer regions secure in the knowledge that your loved one is well cared for back at home. You could qualify for $1,830 per month VA benefits or $1,176 per month for a surviving spouse. Alpine Manor, New York State Health Department licensed. Call 346-5880 for a no-obligation tour or information, or visit alpinemanor.com.
A healthy smile has health benefits beyond just teeth. It's whole body wellness. Don't live with broken, missing, or failing teeth. Lakeview Dental can restore your smile with state-of-the-art dental care. Their approach is providing reliable, comfortable solutions for the long term. Eliminate those endless visits to deal with recurring problems with your teeth. Address your dental concerns once and for all. Find out more at LavoniaSmiles.com or call 346-3028. Lakeview Dental, for the smile of a healthier you.
Yes, it's Turnbull tune-up time for your air conditioning system. Whether you have an attic system, a ductless wall mount system, or even a conventional central air conditioning unit attached to your furnace, call Turnbull today to schedule your appointment to save energy and money. If you need a new system, Turnbull can provide a free estimate to meet your comfort needs and budget. Call Turnbull today, 343-2005.
You'll be comfortable with the best. Turnbull Heating and Air.
In Avon and Livingston County, call 226-6180.
Join the movement Saturday, May 16th. The National Warplane Museum presents Operation Thanks from Above, a flyover salute to Western New York first responders, healthcare, and essential workers. The mission will be led by the C-47 Whiskey 7. For information, visit nationalwarplanemuseum.com.
You're listening to Radio Free New York.
All right, welcome back to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister. I have Kevin Wilson here with me. We're doing our Talk of the Town today.
Yeah.
And we're talking about reopening.
We are. It's happening, guys. At least a little bit, sort of, kind of. And we're getting some nice comments on here. I think Garrett and Sean Phelan, Agent of Chaos, are mocking us for opening up rich man sports, tennis, golf, things like that. And they're saying cricket, yachting, fishing, that's what's allowed now.
And then campaigns, whatever.
Political campaigns, oh, of course. Well, that's essential. Can you think of anything more essential, Andrew, than our politicians?
I can think of a lot of things that politicians are less essential than. That's for sure.
Yeah, that might be an easier list. But yeah, then they talked about backyard games and stuff too. That's a good point. I guess you could play backyard games like bocce or ladder ball or whatever, with cornhole with some of your neighbors too. And you could do that and be pretty safe. You just have you know, whatever was it, like 15 feet between things, and you're all good. You're all set. And then Samantha also said crypto's contactless. So yeah, if there's any drive-in movie theaters or any other business that's accepting crypto, hey, you can do that too. Why not? Do it. Contactless. It's safer. Really, it's for our safety. That's why we need to. That's why we need to transition to crypto for our safety. And then Garrett says he wants to drive out to Rochester to play tennis. Come on, man. Come on up.
Yeah, there you go.
I found a court near my house.
Really good at tennis.
What's that?
I said I hear Kevin's really good at tennis.
Oh yeah, the best. Super great. Yeah. Not at all terrible.
You know what? I think though there's a good marketing thing here for cryptocurrency, and that could be cryptocurrency COVID free, and that's what people should be doing to market things like Bitcoin, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. There's so many different things. If Adam Kokesh gets elected, was it Americoin? Yeah, and plenty of cryptocurrency to go around for sure.
There's opportunity out there.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the phases here. Who's going to be allowed to open? Who's not going to be allowed to open? And as I kind of scroll through this list, what I don't see on here, which is of course nagging at me, is I don't see anything about gun shops on here. And federally, gun shops were made essential, but statewide, Cuomo said, nope, you're not, and you better shut down. And we even had the firing pin out in Bergen have a letter sent to them from Cuomo's staff, essentially telling them if they didn't shut down, they'd lose their license to operate in New York State. And I'm looking at all 4 phases here, and I'm not sure where a gun shop.
That's in phase 5, not written yet.
Yeah.
In
phase
like 3,
5.
4, or 5 years, when we know everything is safe, then maybe we'll consider opening up the gun shops again for our safety, for the virus, not anything else.
Yep. So let's talk about phase 1. Phase 1 is.
Let me interject real quick. I do see sporting goods under phase 1 for curbside pickup. Do you think that covers it?
No, I'm kind of wondering. I think New York State would blow a gasket if gun shops were allowing curbside pickup. I mean, could you imagine drive-through gun stores popping up in New York? I mean, I think it's brilliant and awesome.
That's the libertarian dream.
Yeah. I'm sure New York has a law against that somewhere. It might be under retail in phase 2. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but anyway, I disrupted you. What's going on for phase 1?
Now I'm just thinking about how I'm going to open up a drive-through gun store in New York, and I'm just
that's
really
another
excited.
opportunity. Can you do a drive-through gun store that also takes crypto?
Yes, 100%. We'll make it happen.
All right.
All
awesome.
right. So phase 1, construction, manufacturing, retail that allows for curbside pickup, wholesale, trade, agriculture, forestry, fishing, and hunting. I thought you could do those things already, fishing and hunting. People are out there hunting and fishing.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that is things that people, if you're going to do that, they were just out doing it anyway. I don't know anyone who fishes who's like, I better wait on fishing by myself until the governor says it's okay. And I know Sean Phelan are and hunting too. Yeah, if you're able to legally hunt anyway, why would you be stopped by that? I know Sean's still listening. He can let me know what he thinks about whether or not he's allowed to go fishing.
Maybe it was the sale of hunting and fishing licenses, because I know they put the sale on hold. Maybe that's what it is. I'm not sure. If anybody knows, feel free to call into the station. Let us know. Give us a comment on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter here. Number is 585-346-3000. What's up with the hunting and fishing thing? I thought I didn't think that was on hold. I could.
They're saying maybe guided fishing is what they mean, or they have fishing tours. I know we have.
Yeah.
We know some folks who do that, and maybe that's what they mean by fishing is that type of fishing ain't allowed.
Yeah, I think construction is also kind of interesting on this list because construction, especially like small remodel jobs, is usually just one person doing the work. So the fact that we're reopening this, I mean, most construction has been able to kind of loophole themselves into being essential either way. So it's just kind of like the governor's like, well, now I am officially giving you permission to do what you've been doing. So.
Oh, thank you.
Yep, exactly.
If it pleases the crown.
Yeah. Kevin, do you have the list for phase 2, or do you want me to run through it?
Well, I was just gonna like they list specific businesses too, so it's not even like all of manufacturing is open, all of construction is open, all of retail is open. They're saying retail, they list specific businesses, which, makes you wonder, like, okay, does this include everything? They say other miscellaneous store retailers, but they list off clothing stores, direct selling, electronic, mail order houses, furniture, florists, general merchandise stores. They go on, some of these stores that have been closed. But what's funny is I know, like, some of these stores, like, seem to have already been operating on curbside service or, online shopping. Like they've already been doing that. Like I know, like there's a shoe store around here that we bought running shoes from because that's what they did. They did curbside pickup. They didn't wait for the government to give them permission to open. They're just like, all right, we found a safe way to do it because this is the way people are doing things. And you order your shoes online, you drive up to a store, they say roll down your back window, and they pop it in your back seat. That's it.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm actually looking through that more detailed list, and you're right. There's just like, I don't want to say weird stuff, but there's stuff that you wouldn't expect to be in here, like manufacturing, apparel manufacturing. Well, weren't apparel manufacturers running anyways, and weren't many of them switched over and making face masks and other things like that, and other types of quote-unquote essential stuff? And same thing with the textile product mills and textile mills. We shut down manufacturing where machines do most of the work, and there might be 6 to 10 people in an entire 1 million square foot factory. That just seems ridiculous to me. Oh wait, I know why. Because New York State has almost zero manufacturing left because we've all gone, and it's probably just 2 companies in the whole state that it impacts.
Yeah, right. But we're operating under a strange economic paradigm where instead of like just going out and doing things and meeting the needs of consumers, we're operating everything where like, oh, the government needs to give permission to each specific thing. Again, I don't think that it stopped some people. A lot of people adapted their businesses, figured out good ways to operate, and they're still able to open. Like I know several companies, it seems like they said, okay, well, we're going to split the shifts, and some people are going to work from home if you're able to, and if you have to be on the floor, we're going to split and keep people apart and wear safety equipment and check temperatures on the way-ins. So they were already finding ways. The ones that weren't forced to close by the state, they're already finding ways to keep their workers safe, which begs the question, again, why are we arbitrarily closing some of these other manufacturing plants or retail shops when people have found ways to adapt safely around it?
Yeah, and actually that brings up probably one of the biggest questions people have right now, which is why did 66% of the COVID cases come from people who were staying home, who weren't working, supposedly, according to the governor's own numbers? And I think we'll explore that. We're going to take a break here. And when we come back from the break, let's talk about why only like 3% were from essential workers and small numbers from nursing homes, but 66% were people who stayed at home. We're going to talk about that more on Radio Free New York.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Aircraft Environmental Systems proudly supports Radio Free New York. Rochester-based leaders in climate simulation chambers for America's R&D laboratories. We're experts in troubleshooting, calibrations, custom designs, and consulting for more than 40 years. Industry pioneers, we created the first ever fleet of temperature, humidity, and altitude test chambers available to rent coast to coast. Trained and trusted by environmental chamber manufacturers, we are ACES. Find us at acesinc.com.
The Rochester area franchise dealers are here to help their customers through these trying times. Service departments and collision centers are open. Vehicle sales are initially done remotely by telephone or electronic means until you're ready to visit the dealership and take delivery of your vehicle. Proper social distancing and cleaning protocols are followed at all dealerships. Please contact your preferred dealer to schedule sales or service appointments for a safe check-in, drop-off, or pickup process. Be safe and know the franchise dealers are here for you, Rochester.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Radio Free New York.
All right, welcome back to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister. Got Kevin Wilson here. Kevin, you said we've got some interesting comments on the feed.
Yeah, no, we've had some great comments. So thanks everyone who's watching on the live streams on YouTube, on Facebook, all those things. Samantha pointed out that they're shutting down things like construction and plumbing because they go into other people's homes, which is an interesting point. So I guess that's part of it. Although you can do some things like some emergency plumbing, emergency electrician work, things like that. So you can do some of that, and those contractors have to find ways to operate safely. My grandfather's a plumber and electrician, so I know he's able to help with some emergency services. Garrett points out that many businesses are licensed by the state, so salons, bars, restaurants, gun dealers, things like that. So what they do is they threaten to take away that license and that permanent ability to operate if you're in violation of anti-state orders, and that's what they do. And then Smith points out licensing is a farce. Yeah, no, I agree with that.
And I think that this is probably the big thing about licensing that people, I think, don't totally realize or get when we talk about licensing. A lot of people think that licensing has something to do with safety or qualifications to perform some sort of work, but that's just simply not the case. The licensing is simply a fee to the government. And the government saying, well, now that you've paid your bribe, you can now operate in this state. And the issue becomes when something like this happens and the government can't necessarily force compliance, they then threaten to take away your license. If you look at licensing, that's the state's only real form of control. And if you choose to operate unlicensed, what control do they really have over you besides throwing you in jail? You know, they can threaten you and try to take your money, but if you have money in cryptocurrency or you have it in cash instead of a bank account, they don't have that control either. So licensing is all about control. They're just trying to make sure that they can keep their hand in your pocket and make you do what they want you to do.
Exactly. And you and I did a show on business licensing in Rochester. I don't know, I've been way back in December, November, sometime like that, which did end up going through. And that's exactly why Rochester implemented a new business license, is so that like these small like bodega like stores, the like corner store type of things, that if they didn't like what they were doing, they could just pull their license and take away their ability to operate legally and shut their stores down if you don't toe the line with whatever the city wants you to do.
Yeah, no, exactly. Licensing, I think, is a huge problem. I've done many shows talking about the differences between licenses and standards. We could easily spend hours on it, but going the approach of following standards, applying for standards, is just way better than licensing, because government has a monopoly on licensing, and anytime you have monopoly is a bad thing. That's the first issue right out of the gate. And licensing isn't about safety or quality or anything like that. It's strictly about control and approval by government. We can have safety, we can have quality, we can have good products, and accountability without licensing by using standards instead.
Absolutely. All right. So should we hit the one last part of the phased reopening, is that each business is supposed to have a plan to keep their workplace safe. So we hadn't really talked much about that. So that is an additional requirement. Things that I think businesses are doing anyway. So they have to the shift workplace hours and design to reduce density in the workplace, restrict non-essential travel. They have to require all the employees and customers to wear masks, which I know some people get upset with. To me, I'm like, I don't mind. If I go get my haircut, I kind of want to, wear a mask and have my barber wearing a mask, because it reduces the likelihood of us getting sick, even if it doesn't prevent it entirely. And then, they have to consider implementing processes that meet our changing public health obligations, which is things like screening individuals when they enter, reporting confirmed cases, things like that.
I think that what New York State is doing here is they're just trying to make it seem like they're doing something. And so how does government make it look like they're doing something? Well, they pass more legislation or more regulations on us. So it's not as simple, guys, as just reopening. You have to reopen safely. Never mind, everybody's been safe anyways.
Exactly. They've already been operating in a lot of these ways. And then, we only have a couple minutes left, so we're not going to talk about it a ton, but you got Elon Musk out in California. I know this is moving away from New York State, but he's saying he's just going to go and operate and keep his factory open, or move out of the state altogether. I know, is he being responsible there, reckless? I've seen a lot of polarized opinion on that.
Well, I think Elon Musk is already a polarizing figure, right?
Yeah,
Personally, I for the most part, like his mindset and what he does. And to be honest, I think if somebody were to stand up and tell the government, hey, we can be safe and we can continue production, and if you try to stop me, I'll go somewhere else and do this, Elon Musk is the guy to do it. He's got the money, he's got the resources, and he's quite frankly got the attitude of like he will actually do it, and he's got the resources to do it. And yeah, I wish that more business owners had the ability to do something like that, where they could stand up and say, hey, New York, I'm opening. And I'm going to be safe about it. I'm going to make sure that my staff have the proper PPE. I'm going to make sure that every customer who comes to the door has a proper PPE. We're going to physically distance appropriately. We're going to minimize risk. oh, by the way, we're not essential. If you don't like it, fine. We'll go to a state who wants our business and wants the jobs that we bring with it. I wish we could all do that. That would be amazing.
I mean, the problem is that some of us want to live in New York, and we've got to, stay here sometimes, right? So how do we combat the state? And we can't just. I don't want more manufacturing to leave the state. We got to fix it from the government.
No, I don't disagree with that at all, Kevin. I wish that we all had the resources that Elon Musk had to be able to make a bold statement like that. The reality is I don't want to leave New York either. And I don't know that there's any way for us to fix it besides voting out our elected officials. There are many things that could be done. If everybody decided they weren't going to give the state their tax dollars, that would be a great way to make a protest and make the state turn things around. The problem is you need an overwhelming majority of people to do something like that to make that statement. And the reality is you'd probably get less than 2 or 3% participation in some sort of protest like that. It just wouldn't be effective.
Yeah, and that's the problem is that like a lot of people don't have the resources to be able to do it effectively, to be able to risk that challenge, or they don't have the inclination to. They just defer to the government authority, or they just don't think it's worth it, or they agree with it. It's what it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are enjoying their peaceful slavery. That's for sure. We could go down that route. They're getting their their government trust fund of whatever unemployment is on a weekly basis, and they're staying at home, and they don't have all the things that they like and are used to, but they're just content enough.
Yeah. And that's the challenge, is if you're content enough, you're comfortable. And the problem is with things like this is that they start to deteriorate fast, right? Like as you see more government shutdowns, if it stays in place, we see further deterioration of like food supplies, and food production stuff. We see a greater deterioration of material goods coming in and out of this country. Like it's gonna start to get a lot more uncomfortable, and we don't want it to get to that point. We don't ever want to get to the point where people are in need of stuff because the supply isn't there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, thankfully, my wife was at Wegmans the other day. They do have toilet paper, so we've got that going for us. All right, guys, you're listening to Radio Free New York. Thanks for listening. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow.